It's the last message on spots. Spot was a one-time message that's ended up being a month long, right? This message is it's called the sweet spot. It started out being called something else, and due to diligent prayer by my wife, it's the sweet spot. And it's truly the spot that everybody really wants. And it kind of came, I was working at the Emory Barn about 15 years ago, and I just did Pee Wee's funeral last Saturday, and or Saturday was a week ago. And me and him was in the alleyway, and I was leaning on this little old stick about like this, and it's about a 650 weight yearling, limousine cross, big old fat juicy calf comes. They unloaded a trailer load of them, so he's just one of the bunch. They come running by me and Pee Wee was standing there, and I'm young and agile, and Pee Wee's a little older, so I made sure I kind of, stuck, because them limousine calves kick with all 4 feet. And I'm just kind of standing there, and then I just took that stick on the last calf going by me, and I just, like that. I didn't hit him hard, but I just flopped my stick, I was leaning on it, so it's this high off the ground. I just flopped my stick and hit him right between the ears. That sucker hit the floor. All 4 feet. And I just knew I was finna get it. I could just hear Pee Wee going off in my ear. Oh, what have you done? Oh, golly. Just kill him. Just kill him. Why don't you? Just kill him. We'll have to buy him, But I hit him right in the sweet spot, knocked that sucker colder than a wedge. Pee Wee kind of chuckled. He said, "What'd you eat for supper last night?" I said, "My wife cooked chicken fried steak." He called me chicken fry for about 6 months. Calf got up in about 2 or 3 minutes and walks, And I thought, boy, I hit that son. I kind of shared that story at his funeral about how, I hit that son right in the sweet spot. Then I remembered a few fights I got into when I was really getting whooped, and I thought I got to find some way to get the upper hand. You go to hunting that sweet spot. Literally one time I got my pinky stuck up somebody's nose. I was like in the 5th or 6th grade. It was in the old locker room at the old gym. Well, he must have been the 4th and 5th grade. That's when we were stuck. He's stinky feet gym, I don't even remember what the fight was about, but he was getting the upper hand, and somehow I had him in the headlock, and I was trying to punch him, and I stuck this finger about that far in his nostril. You got him, you hear me? I'm just telling you. What you say now? Because I was trying to really get away from him. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm like, whoo, and then and he's following me about head high. Yeah? Had I known what I was doing, anyway, it's a good thing I didn't know. But you hunt that sweet spot. You know what I'm saying? It's that turning point. It's that everybody, in every battle there, and in every sport, there's a sweet spot. In every kind of life, there's a sweet spot. And the sweet spot is when you're getting whooped and you find it to turn the tide, or when you find it and it's like, man, everything's jelly but the jar, boy. It's all good, It's like, cereal with milk in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything works right. It's, in baseball, they say, when you hit the ball and you hit the sweet spot of that bat, it's like effortless. It's Josh Hamilton, he don't look like he just whack, and that someone goes for 472 feet. You know what I mean? Because he hits the ball with the sweet spot. Michael Jordan, when he just can't miss, he's the last basketball player I really like. So, everything he puts up is just boom, and it just, it's just bang. Brett Favre, whenever there's no way he's supposed to make that pass, and he just launches it. And it just, 82 yards, and right there. He's in the sweet spot. You know what I'm saying? It's like in a business, when you got this business rolling, and all of a sudden, everything starts to click. And the clients call, and you know what I'm saying? The breakdowns finally stop, or the cows quit falling dead, or the sweet spots when you're preconditioning yearlings and you fighting pneumonia, and you pull 10, 12, 15, 18 head a day to doctor and vaccinate, and then all of a sudden you get rain, the dust settles, and calves go to eating, and you see them. You're like, man, this was the spot I've been looking for, right? It's the sweet spot. It's marriage. How many of you in here is married? How many of you are married? All right, don't put your hand down, put your hands up. Put your hand, if you're married, put your hands up. Now then, don't look around. Look at me. How many of you are happily married? Leave your hands up. You can't make her, Todd. If she ain't, I told you look at me, not her. You trying to make her hold her hand up. That ain't right. All right, put your hand up. Here's the thing. In marriage, there's a sweet spot in marriage, right? And it's both ways. Marriage, it's a war. It's a battle. There's struggles. There's strife. And sometimes you're at the end of it. You're getting whooped by marriage and by the things that go on in marriage. And all of a sudden, you find that sweet spot and you hit it, and it shifts, and your marriage goes from a train wreck to a good thing. And then if you can stay in the sweet spot, guess what happens? Marriage gets sweeter and sweeter and more and better, right? So today we want to figure out the sweet spot. We want to focus on the sweet spot. And I'll tell you something. I think there's something in here that is truly, I know there is. I don't know how to say it because I'm not, but there are things that God has put together that are because that's how he wants them. Sweet spots are that. You do, and you can't name a way or an area or a part of life that you don't find a sweet spot in it. Somewhere. Whether it's in the fight, in the battle, in the struggle, or on the other side of it, when it's all working and you've mastered and you've fine-tuned it and you've practiced it and you've worked at it, you find sweet spots. And sweet spots are blessed spots. You hear me? Even when you're getting your tail kicked, if you find just a little sweet spot, it's a blessing. Even in the midst of some you're riding bulls and there's chaos going on all around you. I mean, it's a wreck. It's a storm. And you're sitting in, and they call that being tapped off. And it's effortless. It's because he's in the sweet spot. No matter, he's on top of 2,000 pounds of muscle and just power. And he's sitting there like it's nothing. Just like he's in a little rocking chair. He's in the sweet spot. You hear me? In life, that is real. It is a real place. It is a real power. It is a real thing, and it is God's thing. And he wants us in the sweet spot. And I want to help us understand where it is, how we have it, and how we use it. That's what I hope to do today. If I don't, I want Amy to come back and sing Amazing Love just so at least you got preached to. If that song don't minister to you, you need adjusting. Something, I don't know. But I want you to just remember that sweet spot. You know, that you got to hunt it. I found it in Psalms, two Psalms, Psalms 31 and Psalm 71. And listen, how many times have you ever told, or have I told you, if God repeats himself, it's not because he forgot he already said it. It's because you really, really, really ought to get it. And I found that he said this like 3 or 4 times in the Psalms. So you really, really, really need to get this. Psalms 31, verses 1 through 3. In you, O Lord, do I take refuge. Let me never be put to shame. In your righteousness, deliver me. Incline your ear to me, rescue me speedily. Be a rock and a refuge for me, a strong fortress to save me. For you are my rock and my fortress, and for your name's sake you lead me and guide me.